The final session that we've designed here is all about celebrating a lifetime of achievement. And as I say, I can guarantee you none of our panelists are done yet. At AviaDev, we only do one award. I'm not an awards fan generally. We do one award. It is named in honor of our patron, Girma, who was there right at the beginning of AviaDev in 2016 when he was the chairman of Rwandair. And he's been a real mentor to me and so many people in the audience as well. So we wanted to, I awarded him first, and then we did an annual award, and you can see some of the alumni that we've had there is incredible. So we do it once a year, and it's voted for by our advisory board. So they nominate, and then we do a anonymous vote. And our award winner this year is somebody who's devoted his life to aviation, and one airline in particular. He's also making his debut at AviaDev, and he's been here 3 days, and he's been sat here getting involved and spending the time with us. And it's just such an honor to have you spend that time, because I have no idea how busy you are at Mesfin. So the session is not, and I said this morning, it's not about fleet strategy and network strategy necessarily. It's about him. It's about the man himself. It's about his life and his times and all of his inspirations. And so he's got two great friends with him as well. So I'm going to now introduce Girma to, and all three of them can come on the stage. So I'm going to hand the baton to you, Girma. Please join us on stage. Big round of applause.
I hope this thing is working. Good afternoon. I think before we start, let's all rise, because you know what happened yesterday, and we would have to have a silent time, a prayer for the Air India victims, 248 of them. A minute of silence. Thank you. Mesfin, can you come on the stage? Wadanyole. And Joao? John said, we are not going to talk about strategy. We are not going to talk about network. We are not going to say anything about industry. So what are we going to do? We are going to see who Mesfin is. And I don't know how many of us know Mesfin. I know him for the last 40 years or so. So I can tell you a bit about Mesfin. Mesfin joined Ethiopian Airlines in 1984, direct from the engineering college in Addis Ababa, Haile Selassie University. I repeat, Haile Selassie, that used to be the name. Today it's called Addis Ababa University. Mesfin was one of the 4 engineers, top engineering students of that year. And he was a gold medal winner. So the best of the best. Out of the 4 people, I think he's the only one who is still in the airline. His colleagues, one of them is a vice president in Boeing. One of them has his own technology industry in Canada. And the third one, who only stayed for a very short time in the airline, is in an engineering organization in the States. But he survived 40 years. with the airline. Just to start, I would ask few questions, and then engineer to engineer, him and Joao will talk. My questions to Mesfin is, you joined Ethiopian Airlines as a management trainee in 1984. And since then, you worked in various positions within the airline. And today, you are the CEO of Ethiopian Airlines. Big responsibility and a lot of pain and a lot of pressure. If you were to start afresh, do you think you'd continue to do the same job? You'd join Ethiopian Airlines? If you were to think back, did you do the right thing to join Ethiopian Airlines, or do you regret it?
Thank you, Ato Girma. I joined the aviation industry in 1984 by chance or by accident. I never thought I would be in this industry. As Mr. Girma said, I graduated from the Addis Ababa University in 1984 with electrical engineering degree. With a good achievement, and I was supposed to stay in the university as a lecturer to pursue an academic life. But to save time, there was a reason that didn't enable me to stay there, and I landed in Ethiopian Airlines as an avionics systems engineer. And after joining Ethiopian Airlines, I thought that after a year or two, I would leave the airline and pursue my dreamed academic life. But once I joined, I started working for Ethiopian Airlines. I found out the job very interesting, and I forgot my dream and stayed there until today for the last 41 years. I spent my work life with the Ethiopian Airlines, and I don't regret, Mr. Girma. I would, if I had to do it again, I would still be interested in joining the aviation industry because it is a very fascinating industry.
Okay, now that if you were to restart, you'd still start from Ethiopian Airlines. I'm happy to hear that because that is what I would have liked to do. Now, you worked in various positions, starting as a junior engineer up to a position of the CEO. How much did each of those positions that you worked on prepare you for the position that you hold today?
When I took my current position in 2022, I had already served in the aviation industry for 38 years, before 3 years. And that period of 38 years was a period of learning, continuous learning for me. Working at Ethiopian Airlines is like a school. We learn every day from what we do. From every problem, we learn the solutions. And so that is why it kept me very busy. And time flew without I noticed it. For the first 10 years, I worked as an avionics system engineer, including a group leader of the engineering group. And that was a period that taught me about how aircraft are maintained and about the aircraft systems. Then for about 3 years, I was assigned as a project manager to computerize our maintenance and engineering function. That was an interesting time because I learned about the entire maintenance and engineering services, which include maintenance programs, aircraft records, regulations, procurement of aircraft parts, warehouse management, everything related to aircraft maintenance and engineering management. And I can boldly say I'm a guru of that area. That computerization project enabled me to fully understand the MRO function. Then I took the responsibility of leading Ethiopian Airlines as CIO, Chief Information Officer, for about 6 years. And during that time, the airline was executing a massive ICT transformation project. And even though my background was engineering, that was the time that enabled me to learn about the other airline functions. I learned about financial systems. I got the opportunity to learn about the commercial systems because the project was so massive that it touched all aspects of the airline. The human resource management functions, the training activities, and so on. Then I moved back to the MRO division as head of the division in the capacity of vice president. And at that time, Mr. Girma was my supervisor. I will talk later about that. And that was the time that enabled me to undertake several projects in the MRO area, including internal capability development projects in airframe maintenance, engine maintenance, and the like. And then, after serving there for 6 years, I moved up to become Chief Operating Officer, in which position I worked for 10 or 11 years. That enabled me to fully understand and learn about airline operation, including flight operation, operation control centers, outstation activities, in addition to the maintenance activities. During this period, I have managed several projects. Projects were learning opportunities for me. And in most cases, I was leading projects, and I was working with several people, several colleagues, and I believe that I had a very good skill in working with people. In the aviation industry, work is done as a team. No individual can accomplish a work alone. I was involved in aircraft evaluation, negotiation of aircraft acquisition projects, infrastructure development projects. I led several teams, including from initial negotiation with service providers up to managing projects, and other projects as well. Then I moved on to Lome to become the CEO of our partner airline, ASKY, where I worked for 1 year. That was a time that enabled me to see airline in its entire picture at lower scale. At the time, we had around 10 airplanes. Now, the airline grew to have around 15 airplanes. And that enabled me to learn how to manage an airline. So every area of work that I participated, it was a learning experience.
Thank you very much. Then you worked as a CEO of ASCAI, as you said, and now you have been the CEO of Ethiopian Airlines for the last 3 years. You managed a small airline called ASCAI. You are managing the biggest airline in Africa today. By African standard, it's largest. What are the similarities in focus of managing a smaller carrier versus managing a relatively bigger carrier?
ASCA Airlines and Ethiopian Airlines are both airlines involved in the transport of passengers. Both have operations, both have fleets, both have to generate revenue, both have to publish their financial reports. So in that respect, they are very similar. In both airlines, we have to develop strategic plan, annual plans, measure performance, hire people, train them, and so on. The difference is scale. Managing ASCAI was much easier than managing Ethiopian Airlines. As I said earlier, ASCAI today has 15 airplanes. It is growing fast. And at the time I was assigned to ASCAI, the airline was loss-making. It was just post-COVID period. In fact, it was in a negative equity state. The year I went there, the airline was at a great financial risk. Fortunately, when I left after 1 year, the airline made a very good profit. And my focus was to bring that result, to turn around the airline into profitability and save the airline. We focused on improving operational efficiency, improving customer services, and generating more revenue. Partly hard work of the ASCAI Airlines people, and partly luck. We were very successful. But managing Ethiopian Airlines, an airline flying to over 130 destinations in 5 continents, using a fleet of over 140 airplanes, is a nightmare. I can't tell you. It's a nightmare. Because my responsibility is beyond focusing on an airline. Ethiopian Airlines is it is an international operator like ASCAI Airlines, but it has a big domestic operation, flying to 22 airports in the country and carrying close to 4 million passengers in the domestic market annually. So we have domestic operation, international operation, not only passenger, but cargo, huge cargo operation. And Ethiopian Airlines is a group that also manages Ethiopian Airlines airports. With this responsibility, we have to build airports, manage them, operate them. And we are also in the hospitality business. We have a big 5-star hotel that we built in Addis Ababa, and we have to manage that as well. Ethiopian Airlines has around 20,000 permanent employees, whereas ASCAI had 500 employees. You can see the scale. And The good part of managing Ethiopian Airlines is we have the required resources, financial resources, human resources. We have all the required resources. I would like to mention that managing an airline is not easy. You know, those of you who are managing airlines, you must know it. We don't work 5 days, we work 7 days. We don't work 8 hours, we work minimum 13 hours. We come to office at 7 in the morning and leave 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and it has become part of my life. It is my lifestyle. I see my families only during dinner, late dinner, and early morning breakfast. Otherwise, I have sacrificed my life, the entire life, to the airlines, for which I'm very happy and proud to see the airline that I worked for is so much successful.
Before I pass you to, for the engineer-to-engineer talk, I have 2 questions for you. I heard Ethiopian Airlines made history on March 8th, International Women's Day. What is the story? What did you do to call it, we made history?
Ethiopian Airlines Group has a set of values, and among them is to be an equal opportunity employer to all employees and to the public, with attention to diversity, inclusiveness, and gender. We would like to give equal opportunity to our daughters and our sisters to participate in the aviation industry. One of the things that we do to promote this is every year on March 8th, International Women's Day, we execute what we call all women functioned flights. It means we assign female pilots, both as captain and first officer. We make all our cabin attendants female. We assign only female technicians. We assign female loaders. We assign female check-in agents. And at the air traffic controller, we assign female ATC controllers. So that is what we call all women functioned flight. Every year we have been doing this, and this year we did it for the 9th year consecutively to demonstrate to the population that our sisters, our daughters can do anything like what men can do. In fact, in certain areas, they can do much better than what men can do. And every year we used to do one flight, selected international flight, but this year the number of our female employees in the aviation profession has increased so much that we did it on 6 flights on one day.
Okay, before I pass you to Joao, one more question. The tradition of Ethiopian Airlines was to grow, prepare management from within for a very long time. I think out of the eight CEOs, Ethiopian CEOs that we had, 5 of them came from the airline. Is this a good culture? If you think so, and when you retire, probably in 10 years, 5 years, I don't know. Have you prepared people who will be able to replace you and make sure that the airline continues to grow?
It's a very contentious question. There are two thoughts. Some people think that when a new blood is injected into a company, he comes with fresh ideas and he can do better in leading the airline. The other school of thought says, no, it's better to have people who have been working in the company, who know the culture, and it's better to select them to lead the country. I have to be honest with you, I'm a great advocate of the second school of thought, because we have seen it working in Ethiopian Airlines. As Mr. Girma said, we had 8 Ethiopian CEOs who led the airline at different times. And I have seen that the CEOs who grew in the company were very successful in leading the airline. A typical example is my predecessor. He started his career as an agent in Ethiopian Airlines, and he was promoted, or he worked through the ladders to lead the airline for 11 years, and bringing the airline so successful. Mr. Tolda, you may know him. And prior to that, Mr. Girma Wake, he started his career at the lowest level, and he made his career up through the ladder. And finally, he led the airline in the capacity of CEO for about 6 years. And the airline was growing very, very gradually, but the time he became the CEO of the airline grew like taking a parabolic growth trajectory. The benefit of having homegrown CEOs is that, number one, as I explained earlier, they learn. As they work, they learn not only the professional skills, but also the culture of the company when they grow in the company. Secondly, they can better build strong teams in the leadership when they grow through that ladder. So it has helped the airline to develop its leaders internally, and that is the strategy that we want to continue. Going back to the second part of the question, yes, we have been developing potential future CEOs of the airline within the airline through what we call succession planning practices. 15 people report to me. And in the airline practice, we don't select a deputy CEO. We have several deputy CEOs, because we want all of them, we want to give them the opportunity to demonstrate their capacities, potentials, so that finally when the CEO leaves, the government will have, or the board will have, a good opportunity to choose the one that is most competent among them. And as as far as I am concerned, we have at least 2 very senior, competent people who can replace me when I retire.
Joao, engineer to engineer talk now.
Thank you very much. Well, I have started dealing directly with the Mesfin in 2003, although we had some interactions before as I visited Addis. But for the sake of time, no protocols, and I didn't clear this with Mesfin, so I have to put my hand in your shoulder. When I first met Mesfin, and also we had a NACE program, which Ethiopian said, a NACE program Ethiopian implemented to change management culture, and Ato Girma said, this program, we wanted to train managers. They said, no, you must train the gardeners. So we were very stressed by doing this, which touched the deep heart of Ethiopian Airlines management. And the first reaction I had, and the partners that came from Canada had, is, wow, M&E is not convincing. Because Ato Mesfin says yes. And is something going to happen? But M&E was the first and the best to deliver and was the most critical one. So, I mean, I was totally wrong about our impressions. So, Mesfin, you went through this airline. When I arrived in Addis in 2003, you had 8 aircraft. 2013, when I left, 14, were 46. Today, 160. I remember there was a policy, no more than 1 or 2 stations per year. This month they're opening 14 stations under the lead of Mesfin. So how can a leader that doesn't punch the table, doesn't scream, transmit this momentum to everyone? That's going to be one of my first questions to you. The next thing is this innovation. I mean, Ethiopian Airlines has made come true a dream. There is Hajj flights that have dedicated fleet like a passenger flight. It's not that charter confusion anymore. This is innovation out of you. VIP, cargo. Cargo operations is amazing, the network that Ethiopian Airlines has today. You fly to any airport in the world, there's an Ethiopian Airlines flight passing by. So, you know, as an airline CEO, I dealt with Ato Mesfin, and I was shocked, I was surprised. Mesfin was offering services and telling his people, offer the services at cost, because this is not where we're making money. We're making money in the future, partnership in the future. So this is another feature that I really think we need to highlight in your leadership in Ethiopian Airlines. So, you know, I think that altogether, you know, my experience with you in Ethiopian Airlines is an amazing leadership. So many people, you know, we went from IT to then CIO, then VP engineering, COO, and is that you really label things very easy. Everybody in the team felt that they were included, that it was easy to get in, and I'm going to finish with a story. I was going in transit between 2 aircraft on a bus, and I almost screamed. I looked, I said, A350. You know, in Ethiopia, Ethiopians feel like they're part of Ethiopian Airlines, even if they never flew. And the aircraft, the jet aircraft, was a Boeing and Pratt & Whitney. Nobody, at the time we used to say, if it ain't Boeing, I'm not going. And that's what Ethiopians and Ethiopian market said. So suddenly, there was this challenge of introducing the A350. Big challenge, side stick, pilot said we cannot fly that, you know. So there was a big resistance in everybody. And I saw this A350, I said, wow, Ethiopian have introduced the Airbus in their fleet. And you know what they, under your leadership, you registered this aircraft ET-ATR. So it's like a turboprop that's there in the ramp. And I have that picture with me, I love it, you know, because it's like, it's Mesfin. Make it sound easy, although it's very difficult and very challenging. So this is what I see as an outsider, although my heart has remained in Ethiopia, as you know, and Ethiopian Airlines. But thank you very much for all that. So I'm going quickly to my first question. You know, as an engineer, you know, growing with the airline, and now then you went to ASCAI, you now CEO of Ethiopian Airlines. I'm sure there was a lot of pressure. Mesfin said, I tried to arrive there very early, sometimes 6:30 in the morning, 7:30. Mesfin car was there. He was in the ramp. He was walking in the ramp. You walked the ramp as COO, I remember. So you had this pressure between family, political support that you needed to get to start ASCAI, to develop ASCAI turnover, and now SEO, but you must also have some political interference, which is something we suffer in airlines, especially in Africa. How do you deal with this? Family, support, and political opposition, interference?
Thank you. Thank you, Joao. It's an interesting question. One of the benefits of Ethiopian Airlines is that even though we are fully owned by the Ethiopian government, historically, the airline was managed with autonomy, without interference from the government. There were times when the Ethiopian government wanted to interfere in the management of the airline. And in my work life, I remember 2 cases that happened when the government wanted to bring some people from outside, appointed as CEO, and requested the airline to buy airplanes from some countries, and it tried to do some things, and immediately the airline went down from profitability to loss making. I am a live witness of that. So learning from that, the different governments that took power in Ethiopia, they pulled their hands back and left the airline to be managed as a private company. So that has helped for the airline to be successful. This is very important. I tell you, many African airlines are government owned. There is no problem for them to be government owned, but they have to leave it to the board and the CEO in terms of operational management. So far, the interference from the Ethiopian government was very, very low, and that helped us to make business decisions in the best interest of the airline. I can give you 2 examples. In 2023, we ordered 100 aircraft, which are on order from both Boeing and Airbus. The evaluation of the airplanes, how many airplanes to buy, from which company to buy, at what price, all that was negotiated and completed by a task force established by myself. And that was presented to the board, and the board approved it. So no interference from the government. That is how we have been doing it, and this has helped the airline to be successful. On the second part of the question, family life, work life, I think I have devoted myself more to work life than to my family. And my family understood me that they left me alone to pursue my work life, but when I retire, I will compensate them.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Last question. You have had this amazing growth. You're ordering 100 airplanes. You're going from an airport in Addis to an airport at a lower altitude, 60 million passengers phase 1, 100 million passengers phase 2. You need a lot of training. I remember in 2003, we were discussing this. We are losing people, pilots are being stolen, mechanics stolen. We need to train more people. But now the rate of training is huge. And I remember at the time we said we must train more than what's needed. And you did way beyond that. That facility that was there is already big. And now you're talking, no, you're not talking, you're doing a university of aviation, which I encourage everybody to look at and visit. It's an amazing project that will train our African future leaders like the ones we have here. So what is this, I mean, what is the plan, I mean, and how is it being perceived? I hope I'm visiting it very soon. I really want to do that.
It is true that recently we upgraded our aviation academy into a university level. I would like to tell all my sister African airlines, Ethiopian Airlines, biggest resource is not our financial resource, is not our infrastructure, is not our airplanes. Our biggest resource is our human resource. I would like to stress that if you want to be successful, give special attention in the development of your human resource. They are the ones who shoulder the airline. They are the ones who execute the strategies with innovation, with passion, with hard work, with dedication. Unless you invest enough on human resources, I don't think you can be successful. So please pay special attention. For us, we make investments on 5 pillars. That is part of our long-term strategy. The first is we invest on aircraft, we invest on infrastructure, we invest on human resources, and we invest on systems, technology, and we invest, recently we added the 5th pillar, sustainability. And we know that it's very difficult for Ethiopian Airlines to go out and recruit trained pilots. We rely on our own aviation academy to train pilots. For that, we have reinforced our pilot training school to train the number of pilots that we need, plus to provide the service to other African countries. Our plan for the coming year is to train and graduate a minimum of 300 first officers in 1 year, and that to continue every year. To enable us to do this, we are opening additional campuses, not only in Addis Ababa, but at regional airports. And we have boosted the number of pilot training airplanes to reach, in 2 months, we will have 47 pilot training airplanes to train our own pilots. And we are also training a lot of technicians. As I said yesterday, we have seen some turnover of skilled technicians, but our plan is to train technicians in several hundreds and make our maintenance facility to have that capacity to support the airline, to grow. Even if we have turnover, we should be able to replenish the number of people. So of course, it will take some time to make them experience it. So before 1 month, we graduated 950 aviation professionals from our university. This is just to show you how much attention we give for our human resource development. Going back to your second question about the airport you raised. Yeah, for Ethiopian Airlines to grow, we need additional airport capacities. The airport that we use as a hub today has a maximum capacity of 25 million passengers annually. This year, we have planned to transport 20 million passengers. So in 2 years, we will reach the limit of the Addis Ababa airport. Recognizing this fact, we decided that we have to build a new airport at a new location because the Addis Ababa airport is now at the center of the city and it doesn't have space for further expansion. So we are going to build a new airport 40 kilometers outside Addis Ababa. And the new airport will be built in 2 phases. Phase 1 with a capacity of 60 million passengers. And the construction cost has been estimated to be $8 billion. And Ethiopian government told us, I have no coin to build this airport. So Ethiopian Airlines has a choice, either to utilize the existing airport to its maximum capacity with a lot of congestion and limit its growth, or to look for ways of building the new airport infrastructure and continue growing, which was the second option. So now we have secured the land, and the design of the new airport is progressing very well. We have invested over $300 million to resettle the farmers from their land to a new location. That will be completed in August of this year, in the coming 3 months. The land will be free, and we are going to start earthwork in November. That is our plan. A lot of activities are going on in securing financing. We don't have $8 billion, obviously. But it will be done under project financing, in which Ethiopian Airlines will contribute 20%. 80% will be done through loan. And it will be Ethiopian Airlines group who will be managing the development of this airport. So, infrastructure development is very, very important. Either the government has to do it or the airline has to do it. In our case, the government is supporting in various ways, in different ways, but we are going to, not financially, for sure, but we are going to manage the development of this airport for the long-term success of the airline.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe you now know who Mesfin is and what his ideas are. And I believe Mesfin would stay and make sure that that airport is built, because it requires a man who has a thorough knowledge of the type that Mesfin possesses. And we are very happy that today Mesfin is winning this award. And I'm especially happy because a man whom I know for 40 years and a man who has served the company that I served loyally, and it will be a privilege for us to give this award to Mesfin today. And thank you very much for your contribution to the growth of African aviation.
Thank you.
Mesfin, this is yours. Just you and Mesfin first, you two together. You come to the front. Sure, I will do one in a minute, just the two.
Okay.
Just the two, and then we'll do one together. Good? All right, come on, in we go, Joao.
Thank you.
Wow, incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a great place
Thank
to
you.
finish.
To say a few words.
Okay.
Give
Yeah.
me 2 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please, that's Mesfin. Let's go.
Have your seats. I cannot take this special award without saying a few words. I would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to AviaDev and the nominating committee for nominating me for this award. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Throughout my work life in Ethiopian Airlines, I have worked with the different employees of Ethiopian Airlines. I have always believed in teamwork. And all my achievements are results of the hard work, the passion, the commitment of all the people who worked with me. And this award, I am receiving this award on behalf of them because it is not only my work that enabled me to achieve great achievements. So I would like to thank all my friends, all my work colleagues who have worked with me to bring Ethiopian Airlines to this level. The third point, Mr. Girma has been my supervisor since 2004. 2004. He is a great man. He has been my father, my coach, my mentor, and he is a great man who made great contribution to the aviation industry in Africa, to Ethiopian Airlines, and to for my career development. Please allow me to express my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to Mr. Girma. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.